Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 3 In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Ruin, our final specialist in depth. Decided to save one of the easier ones for last, but even though he's easy, that doesn't make him bad. He's actually quite good when used in the right game mode. We'll start with the story, then talk about his ability, and then finally the ever so popular gravity spike weapons. His story is that he was born into a military family, several generations of a military family as a matter of fact, and as is tradition in these types of families, he too joined the military as young as possible, right out of high school. After completing his infantry training, he spent as much time as possible on the battlefield, so much so that it became his second home. Donnie Walsh, as is his real name, is pretty much Captain America instead of Captain America. He loves combat, loves fighting, likes fair fights, doesn't like anything that's underhanded or dirty. He hates covert ops, stealth missions, chain of command. He loves nothing but boots on the ground combat. Interestingly enough, he also volunteered for the cybernetics program. A lot of the other people were injured or forced into it to compete, but he literally volunteered to give up his body to take as many implants as possible to become as effective as humanly possible. Also, there's pretty much a 0% chance that he realizes he's in a simulation because he's a very simple character. The other characters in the game kind of treat him like a Luddite. He'll say attack, 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 and Spectre will ask him, why do you have to attack more than once? Battery kind of gets tired with him, and Sensen or Seraph likes to tell him to shut up, so he's kind of a goofball. But that's enough about that. Let's talk about his ability, which is Overdrive. Overdrive is very similar to Exo Overdrive from Advanced Warfare. When you turn this on, it makes you run faster. Not just a little bit faster, but a lot faster. What a lot of people underestimate is just how lethal this move can be. A lot of people like it in objective modes. However, the ability to move around and sidestep people, especially with something like a stock or a knife or something, can be extremely dangerous. But let's talk about how fast and how long it'll allow you to move. This is a side-by-side comparison of your normal movement speed compared to Overdrive on the right hand side. As you can see, Overdrive is significantly faster, but it's not crazy fast. Or is it? When you break down these numbers and do the math, you'll find that Overdrive allows you to run for approximately 50% faster for about 6.6 seconds. A little bit of rounding there because we've got frames and other things, but that's the easiest way to think about it, is 50% bonus movement speed or 150% movement speed for 6.5 seconds, which is actually incredibly fast. That's faster than anything else can allow you or make you move, and faster than anything moves in any COD game as far as I'm aware. So a lot of people like to think it's double or triple. That would probably break the game and you would go bananas. Don't worry, it moves extremely fast. This is by far the best ability for Capture the Flag or Uplink. You'll see it used in almost every single competitive Uplink game, and surprisingly, it's good for rushing the spawns in Domination too after the round changes, because you can pop it immediately and get places that you shouldn't be. Again, objective modes, Uplink, excellent, but I would like to point out that it's not terrible for Domination, Hardpoint, or even Hardcore, or just like regular core team deathmatch. When you stack this with a spray and pray submachine gun like the Vesper or the VMP, or with a stock, it can be extremely effective because you run circles around people. It is probably the best way to get combat knife kills, or with any of your new special melee weapons that you got in the supply drops, whatever you're working on leveling up. A lot of people like to recommend Kinetic Armor or Firebreak's Heatwave ability. I really like this one. Nothing messes people up like being able to run circles around them while stabbing all of their friends. And finally, it is most effective with shotguns. You can rush and get in people's face with the KRM, the Breachy, the Haymaker, anything but the Argus. Extremely effective. Most people really underestimate just how lethal this move can be. It charges quickly, but offers you no extra protection. You'll have this move up all the time, but unlike most of the other special abilities, you'll go invisible, turn invincible, you'll stun everybody, you'll go backwards in time. This one won't be keeping you alive any longer, or Rejack gives you an extra life. You get no extra health whatsoever, so don't be stupid and charge people in a straight line. Sidestep, juke them out, be a little bit more clever with it, and try to survive as long as possible. Otherwise, you're going to get cut down immediately. Alright, let's talk about gravity spikes. I have some pretty straightforward stats for you on the gravity spikes. The explosive damage is 500 at the inner radius and 300 at the outer radius. If you haven't noticed, this is enough damage to kill anybody at any radius, and the radius is 11 meters. I'm going to make a point that this is radius and not diameter. It's not 11 meters all the way across, it would be 22 meters all the way across. So it's actually an extremely huge area that gets blasted when we hit the gravity spikes on the ground. Massive radius. That's approximately shotgun range in every single direction. This can take out most ground-based score streaks in one hit or two, you know, maybe just a few shots and you'll clean them up. Very effective at that. It can clean out hives, it can clean out trip mines, shock charges, trophy systems, almost anything you put on the ground, this will just completely blow out. It does not go through objects, however, so if the person is on the other side of any kind of immovable or non-destructible object, now it'll blow up cars, but for instance, the big truck on Hunted, or any of the barrels or crates, or around a corner, it just doesn't go around corners or through objects. You have to have a clear line of sight on anybody that you hit, and it also does not go up very much. It's circular and not spherical, so the best way to avoid a gravity spike, if you know it's coming, other than to kill the user, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is to jump straight up. Once you get about one body height worth of clearance, the gravity spikes can't do any damage to you, and I've done this quite a few times. I've jumped up and watched Ruin slam the ground and kill nothing, and I've been on the receiving end of this too. I've slammed the ground and seen somebody jump up just a little bit, and I don't hit them and it doesn't do any damage, which can be very, very frustrating. I think this is the go-to ability for first-time Black Ops 3 players. Almost anybody that plays Black Ops 3 or is relatively new to it or just really isn't looking for any kind of challenge goes for this ability. Why? It's super easy to use and it's super easy to get some kills with. It takes pretty much no skill to pound the ground and kill one or even two people, depending on the map and the situation. However, it's hard to get a lot of kills with. Now, if you play Ground War, maybe a little bit easier, but almost all of the other special abilities, the Ripper, Hives, or especially something like the Scythe, Annihilator, Tempest, you can easily kill 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people with these kind of abilities before they go away. Gravity spikes, not too much. Most of the time you're going to kill between 1 and 3 people, typically just 1 or 2. Very rarely do you get quads with it. Sometimes you get 5-man feeds, sometimes the enemies bunch up and you can kill a lot of them. But the sort of time or charge to reward just really isn't there. If you have skill, you'll get more kills with other specialist weapons, even though this one has the same charge time. But that being said, it's really easy to do. You tap both bumpers, you slam the ground, and everybody dies. No skill required. I think it's really great in domination and hardpoint, especially in hardpoint, because it clears everybody off the hardpoint just about every time, with the exception of the few funny hardpoints that have some cover. Domination, just as effective. You can slam the ground and clear out a whole dom point, or occasionally a choke point, and it allows you to PTFO like nobody else in the game, except maybe Battery. I think Battery is slightly superior to Ruin when it comes to domination and hardpoint, but they're both extremely good. They're both explosive, they both clean off objectives, and they both do work. This one's just a little bit more one and done, kind of, so to speak. Some final tips would be that height doesn't matter. Try not to jump too high because it slows down the attack. Somehow, early in Black Ops 3, the rumor got out there that the higher you fell from, the more damage this ability will do. And I'll just tell you that is completely untrue. Regardless of how high up you jump, it'll deal the same amount of damage and have the same blast radius when you hit the ground. So one of the best tactics is actually to do this in a doorway, or just on the inside of a building with a low overhang, so that you go up and down super fast and the enemy doesn't have the time to kill you, because if they kill you, which they can do mid-air, they can melee you, shoot you, shock you, do almost anything, it will completely cancel the ability, and it costs half of your slam meter, which takes too long to fill, in my opinion, for what it is, and it's very, very annoying. Make sure that you use this move when you're safe, close to the ground, and try not to do the giant jump in the air epic slams. Even though it's really fun, and I have a tendency to do it all the time, I know that I should not be doing it. So overall, Ruin is surprisingly, despite being Captain America, not the best for team deathmatch or for killing people. He is the best in CTF and Uplink, or domination and hardpoint, if you want to PTFO. If you want to kill people, there's other specialists, but if you want to play that objective, Ruin is going to be the specialist for you. Guys, that is all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on Outrider, and the next episode I gotta keep top secret for now. Drifter out.
Lethal. Neutralized.
advised. Hostile HCXD spotted. Friendly UAV inbound.
Superior, my ass.
Securing Alpha. Losing B.
Superior fucking force.
Hostile UAV above. Radar is down. Be advised. Hostile counter UAV is online. Hostile care package overhead. Securing
Nice
Charlie.
fucking day now. Smoked him. Warfighter, KIA.
B locked down.
Shit. You have a nice fucking day now.
The hostile robot has been destroyed.